McDonald's doesn't make its billions by selling you burgers and fries. They make it by secretly running the most ruthless real estate empire on the face of the earth. Look at that glorious, greasy Big Mac in your hands. You think you are holding a cheap lunch? Wrong. You are holding a tiny, delicious rent check. And Ronald McDonald? He is not a friendly clown who wants to give you high cholesterol. He is a merciless, globe-trotting landlord who collects rent on some of the most valuable street corners in human history while making you pay for the privilege of smelling like fryer oil. Welcome to the dark, incredibly lucrative secret behind the golden arches. Today, we are going to peel back the sesame seed bun of the global economy and reveal how a small hamburger stand in California tricked the entire planet into funding a multi-billion-dollar real estate monopoly. To understand the greatest financial heist in fast food history, we have to travel back in time to 1954. Picture a dusty, sun-baked street in San Bernardino, California. Here we find Dick and Mac McDonald, two brothers who have achieved the holy grail of capitalism, a hyper-efficient, highly profitable hamburger stand. They have stripped away the waitresses, the silverware, and the human dignity of waiting an hour for a meal, replacing it with an assembly line of hot meat and cold milkshakes. It is a beautiful, synchronized dance of beef and bun. They are making a killing, but there is a massive problem. The McDonald brothers have zero ambition. They are perfectly happy, making a comfortable living, chilling in the California sun, and completely ignoring the fact that they are sitting on a gold mine that could conquer the world. Enter Ray Kroc. Imagine a 52-year-old traveling salesman who has spent his entire life hustling paper cups and multi-mixer milkshake machines. He is tired, he is sweaty, and he is absolutely desperate for a massive win before his time runs out. Ray visits the McDonald brothers stand and his jaw drops. He doesn't just see a burger joint, he sees a money printing machine that can be cloned and stamped onto every single town across America. Ray begs the brothers to let him franchise their operation. The brothers, who just want to go home at 5 o'clock and avoid stress, basically tell Ray to knock himself out, as long as they get a cut of the profits and do absolutely none of the work. So, Ray hits the road. He starts selling McDonald's franchises to anyone with a pulse and a few $1,000s. His pitch is intoxicating. Buy a franchise, follow the exact system, and you will become wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. And the crazy thing is, it works. People love the burgers. The franchisees are making money. The McDonald brothers are making money. Everyone is swimming in a beautiful river of melted cheese and cash. Everyone, that is, except Ray Kroc. See, under the original franchise agreement, Ray was only taking a microscopic percentage of the burger sales. He was the guy working 80 hours a week, sweating blood to build the empire, and his bank account was practically screaming for mercy. He was selling a mountain of 15-cent hamburgers. But after paying the bills, keeping the lights on and sending the brothers their cut, Ray was flat broke. He was building a kingdom, but he couldn't afford the crown. Ray was sitting in his office, staring at the wall, realizing that you cannot build a global empire by scraping pennies off a cheap beef patty. He was on the verge of total bankruptcy. And then, just as the walls are closing in, a bespectacled financial wizard named Harry Sonneborn walks into the room. Harry takes one look at Ray's disastrous balance sheets, pushes his glasses up his nose, and delivers a line that will forever alter the course of human history. He looks Ray dead in the eye and says, "Ray, you are not in the food business. You are in the real estate business." Let that sink in. This is the exact moment the Matrix broke. Harry explains that selling burgers is a fool's errand. The margins are terrible, the food spoils, and managing teenagers who drop fries on the floor is a nightmare. But land is forever. Harry pitches a completely new, diabolical business model. McDonald's shouldn't be making its money by demanding a bigger cut of the hamburgers. Instead, the newly formed McDonald's Franchise Realty Corporation should go out and lease or buy up the absolute best plots of land at prime intersections in every growing town in America. Then, McDonald's will turn around and sublease that exact piece of land to the franchisee who wants to open a restaurant. But they wouldn't just lease it at cost, they would mark up the rent by 20% or 40% or whatever they wanted, and on top of that, they would write a clause into the lease stating that if the restaurant's sales went above a certain level, McDonald's would get a percentage of the total sales instead of the base rent, whichever number was higher. It was a stroke of absolute, terrifying genius. Under this new system, McDonald's corporate wasn't just a partner, they were the supreme overlord. The franchisee was now responsible for taking out the massive business loans, buying the fryers, hiring the staff, dealing with customer complaints, unclogging the toilets, and sweating over the hot grill. The franchisee took 100% of the operational risk. And what did McDonald's corporate do? They just sat back in a comfortable, air-conditioned office and waited for the first of the month to collect the rent. Suddenly, McDonald's wasn't selling burgers to customers. They were selling turnkey businesses to desperate entrepreneurs and trapping them in 20-year ironclad leases. If a franchisee failed and went bankrupt because nobody wanted to eat their food, did McDonald's care? Not really. They still owned the highly valuable piece of commercial real estate. They could just kick out the loser, paint over the scratches, and hand the keys to the next hopeful sucker in line, charging them an even higher franchise fee for the privilege. With this new real estate strategy, Ray Kroc transformed from a struggling milkshake machine salesman into an unstoppable financial juggernaut. He suddenly had the massive cash flow required to buy out the original McDonald brothers entirely, effectively erasing them from the legacy of the company they founded. He took the golden arches and stamped them across the globe, not by mastering the culinary arts, but by mastering commercial property acquisition. Now, let us fast forward to today, because the numbers are absolutely staggering, and they prove that the burger is nothing but a delicious distraction. Let's look at the financial architecture of the modern McDonald's empire. There are nearly 40,000 McDonald's restaurants currently suffocating the planet. But here is the kicker. McDonald's corporate only operates about 5% of them. That's right. The company itself barely touches a spatula. 95% of all McDonald's locations are owned and operated by independent franchisees. These are the people dealing with the midnight shifts, the broken ice cream machines, and the mysterious meat shortages. But McDonald's corporate owns the land and the building for thousands and thousands of these franchised locations. When you look at McDonald's financial statements, it looks less like a restaurant chain and more like a mafia protection racket mixed with a commercial bank. In a given year, McDonald's might generate somewhere around $25 billion in total revenue. But if you dig into the paperwork, you will find that a massive chunk of their actual profit, the cold, hard cash they get to keep, comes from franchise revenues, and specifically the rent. Imagine a map of the world. Now, start dropping little red pins on the most heavily trafficked prime real estate intersections in every major city, every sprawling suburb, and every busy highway exit in over 100 countries. Times Square in New York, the Champs-Élysées in Paris, the busiest shopping districts in Tokyo and London. McDonald's is sitting on a real estate portfolio that is valued at roughly $40 to $50 billion. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. $50 billion in pure real estate. The Catholic Church and the British royal family are looking at McDonald's land holdings and feeling slightly inadequate. They are essentially the largest single-tenant real estate company in the world, and it is the ultimate bulletproof business model. During an economic recession, when people stop buying expensive steaks and start panic-eating cheap chicken nuggets, the franchisees sell more food, which means McDonald's collects more rent. During an economic boom, the underlying value of the land they own skyrockets, increasing the company's overall net worth. Inflation hits and the price of beef goes up. The franchisee has to figure out how to survive the shrinking margins, while corporate simply raises the rent based on the inflated menu prices. It is a game of heads, I win, tails, you lose, and Ronald McDonald is the one flipping the coin. You have to admire the pure psychological manipulation of it all. They have convinced generations of consumers that they are a friendly neighborhood restaurant bringing joy to families. They spend billions on vibrant marketing, colorful toys, and catchy jingles to maintain the illusion that they care deeply about exactly how much pickle goes onto your sandwich. But behind the curtain, in the sterile corporate boardrooms, they are not looking at recipes. They are looking at zoning laws, traffic patterns, and property value appreciation charts. The burger, the fries, the weird purple blob named Grimace, these are just the shiny bait on the hook. The food is merely the mechanism required to get the franchisee to sign a 20-year lease. Think about the sheer brilliance of the franchisee dynamic. If you want to open a McDonald's today, you cannot just lease any old building you find and slap a yellow M on the door. No, McDonald's corporate uses their massive data analytics machine to pinpoint the exact piece of land that will generate the most traffic. Then they buy the land. Then you, the franchisee, have to bring millions of dollars of your own cash to the table just for the privilege of leasing that land back from them at a premium. You are paying them to work for them. You buy the equipment from their approved vendors. You buy the frozen patties from their approved supply chains. You spend every waking hour ensuring the drive-thru moves at the speed of light. And at the end of the month, before you pay yourself a single dime, you cut a massive check to corporate for rent and royalties. You take all the anxiety. They take all the equity. It is a masterpiece of corporate architecture. McDonald's doesn't have to worry about the unpredictable fluctuations of the restaurant industry. Food trends change. One decade, everyone wants cheap burgers. The next decade, everyone wants kale salads and avocado toast. Restaurants go out of business every single day because tastes evolve. But McDonald's has insulated themselves from the chaos of the food industry by anchoring their entire existence to the dirt beneath the restaurant. Even if, hypothetically, everyone on Earth woke up tomorrow and decided they hated the taste of a Big Mac, McDonald's would still be sitting on tens of billions of dollars of prime commercial real estate that they could sell or lease to the next massive corporation. The next time you pull into a drive-thru, look around. Look at the asphalt. Look at the precise positioning of the building relative to the street. Look at the expensive signage. You are not patronizing a humble kitchen that wants to feed you. You are interacting with a globally synchronized real estate trust that uses deep-fried potatoes to pay its property taxes. You are a tiny, chewing gear in a colossal machine designed to turn cheap beef into land ownership. This is why McDonald's is practically immortal. They have built an empire so deeply rooted in the physical infrastructure of the planet that they can survive almost any crisis. Competitors like Burger King or Wendy's might try to outmarket them or create a spicier chicken sandwich, but they are playing a different game entirely. The competitors are trying to win a food fight. McDonald's is playing Monopoly, and they already own Boardwalk and Park Place. Ray Kroc didn't invent the hamburger, and he certainly didn't invent the fast food kitchen. What he invented was a way to disguise a ruthless, unstoppable real estate acquisition firm as a happy clown handing out balloons. He realized that the greatest product you can ever sell isn't something people eat, but the ground they stand on while they eat it. So, enjoy your meal. Relish the salty fries and the sugary soda, because with every bite, you are quietly paying the mortgage for the most powerful landlord the world has ever known.